Right, so we're basically gonna be doing a run of Chocolate Disco, which is one of the teams that I publish on the forums. This basically consists of using Grumpig, and as a matter of fact, I need to remind myself of getting Reflect because that's actually crucial on Chocolate Disco. Zapdos, and then Regirock, which is basically the star of this team, the sweeper, and the powerhouse on this team. So yes. We're just gonna cancel this challenge because I do need reflect, so I'm just gonna teach that. The reason why is because I was actually using something else other than skill swap. I should actually clone this Grumpig twice because I can't believe that reflect is so good on this team. Reflect is just really good.
Yeah, maybe I can explain why this team uses Reflect over the standard skill swap
Of
on
course.
Grumpig.
Of course.
Like,
Yes, basically, well, as you probably would mention, I think that SubMaxP also mentioned it on the Discord as well. I use reflecting here because was one of my main changes from using your Grumpig set, and the reason why reflect is so good is simply because it allows Zapdos to tank those powerful struggles that normally under normal circumstances it would have issues blocking or going against. Reflex is just really that good, and also lets Grumpig survive those random explosions. Uh, so basically, that's why it's important on this team, at least on this one. I know that you guys use a skill swap, but on my team, it's just too important. It's just such an incredible move in here.
yeah,
And
and it's also justified, I think, because a skill swap is usually for like getting rid of Clear Body, so you can cripple Metagross. But on this team, you have a Zapdos resisting Meteor Mash and using Double Team on turn 2 after Protect if it's locked into Meteor Mash because that gives the best odds. And in that case, if you can get a Reflect off instead of a skill swap,
oh,
that helps a
definitely.
lot.
Oh, definitely. Okay, so we got our first battle, Black Belt Bread. Well, Hariyama is always a certain trick target because after that it doesn't does anything to Grumpig. Okay, so we decide to go for Earthquake, and that's pretty much a move that Zapdos setups are free against.
Yeah, the downside of Reflect is that usually before they struggle, Reflect already wears out. But it's a good turn one scouting move against explosion users, for example. I think that's like the most distinctive use of it.
Okay, so I bottom pass into Regirock now. And as you can see, Regirock's physical bulk, also one of the reasons why it's such a perfect recipient for this team is because it's gonna survive those struggles without any issues. Okay,
Yeah, the
so
thing is, you always gotta hope that the last struggle doesn't critical hit.
I got another curse. I got another curse in here, and I got a priority curse, which is nice because now I got a +6, and from here this point on, I sweep. Okay, well, it landed a struggle, but it wasn't a critical hit, so that's fine. Uh, Now Regirock is at +6 evasion and at +6 curse. And nice, even better. We got even a priority kill with hidden power. This is why I like Quick Claw so much on this Regirock set, because Quick Claw gives you surprise kills, and when it does, it allows you to keep your shot for much more longer because it just augments the probability of keeping your sub and being able to sweep the opponent until it has no Pokemons left. Because even at +6 evasion, the opponent is still going to be able to land at least an attack, and if it's a super effective hit that can take out Regirock, that's pretty dangerous. So, but Quick Claw has that magic, I would say. That's probably the nice thing about it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it improves your odds of not losing by 2 times 20%, like stacked 20%.
oh, definitely. I would probably would agree with this. Okay, so we got a lantern in here. And I'm gonna go, and I think that this is also a trick. Alright, so we decided to go Thunder Wave and it gave me Sherry Wave, but I'm still gonna have to Torment anyways, because this is a very easy, an extremely easy Torment target. Okay, so it's gonna struggle in here, and I'm not gonna bother with Reflect because uh, Lantoon's struggle even with Choice Band is extremely weak. So I'm just gonna, and this is pretty much a safe setup. The only thing I have to do is just set up a double team in here. Even if it lands the struggle, I don't care, and that's completely fine with me. I think that this is a turn in which it's gonna Thunder Wave. I'm gonna protect on the struggle because I want to keep this substitute as intact as possible, and I'm just gonna Baton Pass in here at this point. Well,
This is a really nice general thing of Torment. Like if they get tricked into any status moves, that means you can get Zapdos in for free against the struggle and use a sub to block the status.
yes,
As opposed to like trick teams that don't use Torment still can circumvent the status because then you just let the lead get killed by struggle.
yeah, that's
But it's
possibly
pretty
the best
boring.
spot. And also, you saw that I got a priority kill in the. uh, Okay, so this is telling me 3, but it doesn't matter because it's gonna go down to +6 Earthquake. There's no way that it's gonna kill me. And we're just gonna Earthquake again. I'm under the sub, I'm protected. Okay, Garrity's Charles and decides to Articuno, and this is another trick target. Grumpig has Thick Fat, which resists ice, which is really great, and the Articuno is fastest, so I'm gonna Ice Wind because I need to figure out which Articuno set, because there's a mixed one that also uses Double Edge, so Ice Wind is mostly just to figure that out. Okay, so I decided to go Ice Beam again. Interesting. And now I can pretty much Torment in here, because now Zapdos gets a clean switch on the struggle, and Grumpig doesn't really care. Yeah, I mean, just look at this. I
Yeah, these are all really good leads to use trick on. I hope you can get to show off the turn one reflect in this streak.
Oh, definitely. I would love to have.
Like when it's really necessary. Yeah.
I would definitely would love to get a reflect pull out from my ass in here, but okay. Actually, I didn't roll this. That it already missed out from ice beam. So
Can you explain your strategy against stab double edge?
stab double edge is possibly the most difficult thing because honestly, on those cases, I go reflect on turn one, and the reason why it's because I don't think that risking Regirock against this kind of leads is actually useful. If it's something like Feral, I was just gonna go ahead and outright kill it with Hidden Power Rock. But if it's something like Ursaring, then yes, I'm gonna go Reflect and then go into Zapdos, try to stall it out because if I get lucky, then I have a new opportunity to set up an it without having that. I think it's worthwhile mentioning that against stuff like Gramble, I still trick because Gramble does a meme set. I don't know which one, but okay, they are special mix special attack at once, but only the choice band one is the dangerous one, really. But outside that, Ursaring is a big no because it has double edge, so that's definitely a big threat. But other than that, I try to solve it with Zapdos, and if it works, then I get to Baton Pass into Grumpig, Reflect again, and then Zapdos set up Evasion, so I wouldn't be able to precisely explain it to words, but I think that probably the best way would be reflect turn one, then double team, at least hoping on the hopes that it's not gonna land a crit or it's gonna uh, bypass those evasion boosts for too long. And if everything works well, you stall it out normally, and then you baton pass into Regirock. I think that's probably the best strategy if I had to say it.
Yeah, I think against the Pokemon that are faster than Grumpig, you use Reflect turn one, and against the others, use Torment turn one and then Reflect. So you have more chance that Zapdos gets an extra reflect turn.
I should probably mention something very important. Aerodactyl is also one of those Pokemon that you always want to go. It's one of those Pokemon you always want to reflect turn one because an Omnibus is gonna really screw you over. Aerodactyl is actually one of the losses Choco Disco had was against Aerodactyl 1 because I decided to Icy Wind instead, but I didn't take into account that Ancient Power could ruin that thing, and well, shit happens, but it's part of the game.
Yeah, and if you use Torment against Aerodactyl, then there's possibilities of switching back to Grumpig and use Icy Wind anyway. And that's where you could use Regirock to tank a hit and switch back, for example, if you know what's coming.
Oh yes, definitely. Okay, so we got 9 tones in here. Always a very secure trick target. Grumpig is just really amazing. Honestly, if it weren't because of you, I would never have considered using it. I'm gonna ice winning here because this Ninetales can also be a mixed set, and yeah, it locked himself into Iron Tail. I'm just gonna go and reflect for no reason at all, simply because it's gonna let Zapdos. It's gonna allow me to switch back, and then yeah, I'm gonna substitute in here now. It's not gonna break my sub, and I'm just gonna build double teams in here while I waited for it to break my sub and then set up again. Okay, there we go. It's struggling now. I'm gonna protect in here. I'm gonna substitute, and I'm gonna bat on pass. This Ninetales is complete setup fodder for the Regirock because it's not gonna come close to break the sub, and
Yeah,
okay.
with Ninetales lead, you win on turn 0.
Oh, definitely. And look, Breloom comes in here, but Regirock, I think +6 should one hit KO. I think that the only mon that doesn't KO is Flygon because Flygon has a very low chance to one hit KO, but even Flygon is not really that threatening because at +6, Regirock doesn't give a shit about Flygon.
Yeah, there's also Claydol who can psych up, but then you can switch back to Zapdos and install it if it's really necessary.
Oh, definitely. That's a strategy against Claydol. I'm glad that you mentioned it because Psych Up
Yeah.
Claydol, it's what annoying. I wouldn't say not a threat, but just annoying because it forces me to go into Zapdos. Because I definitely don't want it to psych up my evasion boost. Okay, so Sisa in here. I always trick against Sisa because if it gets locked into Silver Wind, I can grab evasion boost enough time um, for Zapdos to actually get everything. So it's not really that bad even if I lose Grumpig. Okay, so it's not even the Silver Wind. Actually, this one just the
Yeah,
Scorpion.
maybe this is useful to mention. Grumpig actually survives a Quick Claw Silverwind from Scizor. This is one of the things that Alakazam cannot survive guaranteed.
Ah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm just building evasion while I had my reflect up, and now I'm just gonna go into substitute. I'm gonna protect in here, and I'm gonna continue building up on my evasion boost. Something very important, I definitely want to stall out this Metal Claw because in the end, uh, it's Regirock is weak against this attack, so I wanna always. So I'm just gonna continue spamming it because I definitely want Regirock to only eat the struggle and not a super effective Metal Claw. Uh, okay, so now I can bet on pass.
Yeah, there's like a slight risk that it would get some attack boosts, but then you just depend on evasion and curse to deal with that.
Okay, there we go. It's down. Okay, so Hypno is just another trick recipient.
Another free
This is a,
setup.
the Tri Punch. This is a Tri Punch one. I'm just gonna go Torment because in the end, Hypno is one of those monsters that don't deal a lot with struggle, and I just stall out this move. Kind of unlucky. I want to battle pass a much more healthier struggle, but I genuinely wonder if even though it's just gonna allow me to. No, probably not. I'm just gonna battle pass away. I was just hoping to battle pass a healthier substitute because of this, but well, sometimes it's not possible always. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and sweep, and now that I'm +6, the fortress missed the earthquake, and we got this another clean sweep. And Amarok is just gonna waste his time source dancing. I always found funny how Fake Club Marok decides to just source dance at Curse Mon.
In theory, the Bone Meringue Marowak can break the sub and crit the next hit, but
Oh
I think he
yes.
still survived that.
Okay, so we got one of the complicated matchups in here. Um, I don't even know what to say. Golem is an extremely risky one, but I just have to hope that it doesn't decide to explode because most of the time it usually earthquakes. I have never seen Golem exploding before, but okay, it paid off. It decided to counter. But yeah, if you actually do get it to actually explode on you first turn, that's extremely bad luck because at least from personal experience, I have never seen Golem pick up explosion on turn one against Grumpig. I always seen it earthquake, but or any other move, but I never, I swear to God, I never saw it exploding. I don't know if it's different for you, but at least for me, it has been that has been my experience.
Yeah, as someone who probably played over 5,000 trick games, I have seen the turn one explosion, and that's bad news. But I thought you had a strategy with this team where you use turn one choice band reflect and then switch around.
Yeah, it actually does works, but I prefer to reserve that for Pokemon that are actually more prone to use it, like Steelix. I have definitely seen Steelix and Fortress use Explosion more than one time. I definitely saw those, so I definitely use a Reflect in those.
Okay, so maybe you can explain then what exactly do you do after reflect for the people who are watching this?
Okay, basically on those cases, I go after I go Reflect, I usually uh, well, if they didn't explode at that time, I usually go Zapdos and then try to scout their moves and see if they're gonna explode. I actually had this with a Shiftry. Shiftry usually is unable to touch Zapdos and it just explodes on you. But that's great because Zapdos is faster and it can protect and sub. On Aesthetics case, usually on Aesthetics case, I would probably would say that after reflecting, Steelix normally explodes when I switch back into Grumpig. At least that's what I've seen, and Grumpig actually still survives, so that it's not that bad. Also, because Steelix is unable to kill Zapdos in one go, sometimes he does explodes on it. So after a protect, usually um, you get to see what it does. Another thing that you can also do is that if you feel like it, you can also let's see, another explosion user against Fortress. I haven't really seen Fortress explode, but Reflect is also a very worthy move because under Reflect, there's more chances for Fortress to use Explosion against Zapdos. So I usually protect Sub a few times, and after that, usually does. You can always switch back into Grumpig. All of them are going to be guaranteed to survive it anyways. You can also against Fortress, if you have Reflect up, you can swap a few turns between Regirock and Zapdos because it's gonna do really nothing to Regirock with Reflect up. So there's also a few things, but probably the only explosion user that I do feel safe to trick is Golem, but that's just based on my personal experience. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm glad you mentioned that Regirock switch because it's really good against explosions.
oh yes.
That makes Regirock have like an extra niche as a recipient of the
Oh,
trick team.
definitely. It's resistant to explosions, so yes. All right, so that was actually a nice showcase. Kind of a shame that we didn't came close to really. The calling was not really scary in the end, but that was actually pretty awesome. What do you think? What are your thoughts about Regirock as the main sweeper?
My thoughts? Yeah, I think it's original to say the least. It's pretty rare to see like a non-leftovers recipient on a trick team. That's pretty much only possible if you see a Zapdos in the middle. It's a classic because Zapdos, of course, needs leftovers to stall all those PPs against like really strong moves. We haven't really seen it here because we had this was quite an easy streak, but sometimes you want to outstall surfs, you want to outstall crunches,
Oh
you
yes,
want to
definitely.
outstall returns, and then you need those 32 PP eating skills that Zapdos has, while setting up double teams, of course. So in the classic version of this team, you can also use Ganlon Berry Zapdos if you really want to use the leftovers on the last poke. And
Oh,
then it's probably Tyranitar, for example.
I have to say, I haven't even bothered with Ganlonberry, but the only reason why, it's simply because I had fallen in love with Quick Claw Regirock that I just felt like keeping it. Of course, leftovers would be actually really great, having some recovery, because it also means I can be more aggressive with Regirock, but
Yeah, and on
uh,
the other hand, if you
Zapdos
use the
being able to
Ganlon
stall
Berry,
out, it's really important because, as you mentioned it, on a case in which the opponent, on a very rare case that he decides to swap out after tricking, Zapdos is capable of stalling threats like Hamdun 4. Zapdos is very perfect, capable of stalling those Pokemon, and it's really, really good as a staller. So it's definitely worth its weight. So
yeah,
it's not an easy decision. I guess it really
no.
depends.
But the main problems of Regirock is, of course, like slow sweeping. Even if you have evasion, is kind of susceptible on the special side in this Regirock. Like it can get hit by Surf, and then it can hit by Hydro Pump, for example.
You sh
That can happen.
Oh, definitely, but you should actually know that Regirock is EV'd to actually survive a Stormy Surf from full health. It actually survives Hydro Pumps as well. It survives Surf from Vaporeon. It's actually EV'd to survive those attacks. And
Yeah, well, the strongest water move is actually Kingdra and Golduck Hydro Pumps.
and you should
But with the evasion, you can just hope that you don't get hit, or that you only get hit once by the two Pokemon that come after the lead. So I think that's the downside of using a curse user in general, like sweeping without speed. This is the same problem that Snorlax and Swampert and Muk and all
Oh,
kinds of
definitely.
Pokemon like that have.
And I do
And
agree
then
with you, but with Quick Claw, you actually kind of patch that issue because as you saw in here, we got some Quick Claw kills in here, which allowed Regirock to mid first and keep this up.
yeah, you have a chance at patching the issues. I agree, but yeah, this is not a team that should aim for like 1,000+ wins. It's a fun
I think
kind
it
of
can
a
do
gimmick
more.
trick team that is still really decent. So and it's for the originality.
I think that it can definitely do more because it's abusing Trick, and Trick pretty much grinds easy wins as you saw in this round. But in any case, I definitely believe that it can reach between 500 and 1,000. I think that's probably the potential that I see on this team, at least on my personal opinion.
Yeah, and then
500.
yeah, of course the well, trick is just it's cheap wins. It's not really suited. It cannot really deal with the problems very consistently, like explosion, like double edge, like when you have to switch around. You're always a little susceptible to hacks, but when it works, you kind of win guaranteed.
Oh, definitely. In any case, thank you very much, man. I really appreciated your input as well. That was fantastic, I have to say.
Yeah, it was a nice streak. Congratulations.
Thank you.